What's up, guys? Long time no see. Welcome back to the WRPF podcast. I'm your host, Alex Uslar. Episode 49. It's been a few weeks, right? Couple weeks of craziness between the Ghost Clash. Last you guys heard from us, we were about a week out from the Ghost Clash. Ghost Clash, I went on vacation post Ghost Clash, and we are ready to roll back into this podcast. Episode 49. Very cool fun fact. Today's April 24th. Last year, April 25th was the first episode of the WRPF podcast. So we are celebrating the 1 year of this podcast with pretty much weekly releases every single week, bringing you here to week 49. Thank you to everyone who tunes in, listens, who's a fan of this podcast, who enjoys hearing these interviews, who enjoys hearing these solo episodes of me just fucking ranting and talking to myself for 40 or 45 minutes. And that's what this episode's going to be. All right. We're going to recap the Ghost Clash, which we are 3 weeks removed from. Man, what a hell of a freaking meet, man. We're going to dive into recapping that. We're going to dive into what the next couple of months of this podcast is going to look like leading into now that the Ghost Clash, the first pro meet of the year, is behind us, right? Next big pro meet isn't going to be until the American Pro end of the year. So what do we got now going on? We got a lot of our regional championships going on. So we're going to be talking to the different regional meet directors, looking at those rosters, talking about those meets, which then lead us into nationals in October, right? So we'll be touching on all that stuff today on today's episode, and I hope you guys didn't miss me too much, right? So Ghost Clash 3, what a hell of a weekend. I mean, all the episodes leading up over the last couple of months were all interviewing all of the different lifters and the high level talent who was on the roster getting ready to come out. And boy, they did not disappoint. It was a fantastic weekend, like having lifters coming from five or more different countries, tons of different international talent, tons of all-time world records posted, a lot of upsets, a lot of disappointments, and we're gonna dive into that. We're gonna talk about the different performances. If you guys didn't tune in, if you want to see this broken down exactly, if you go down about 7 posts, 8 posts on the Ghost Clashes Instagram, you'll see a breakdown with all the winners, first through fifth place of all the different classes and their dot scores that won them. What you won't see on that post, we didn't make there wasn't a feed post on that, only a story post, is we also awarded our amateur day, right? So before the pro day, we have our amateur day on day one of the Ghost Clash. And dude, that day showed the hell out. All right. So with our women, we paid out our best overall female, and then we paid out our best overall male in sleeves and in wraps. So for best overall female, first place came in literally only had a 6 for 9 day, right? Missing her third bench and missing her second and third deadlifts, and put up a 551 dots. Madeline Scott. That 551 dots would have been good enough for fifth place overall on pro day, right? Uh, Absolutely insane performance for Madeline Scott coming out. 551 dots. I definitely hope that we'll see her on pro day of next year. But get this, all the top 5 placings for women in sleeves on an amateur day all were at least 500 dots. Sixth place being a 498.8. Absolutely unheard of in any amateur or local level competition that I know of. If I'm wrong, correct me if I'm wrong, right? All of these ladies, 1 through 5, all could have competed on pro day if they would have been able to secure a spot, or if they had put up these dots, which I'm assuming for many of them were PRs, because we see a lot of 2 of those 5 were 9 for 9 days, and ladies stacking those chips perfectly to get that 500 dots milestone. And you know what that means for these ladies? They're going to get, for Ghost Clash 4, an early invite, early access, first come, first serve dibs on registration for the pro day for next year. Second, we had Brooke Mitchell, 503 dots. Third place, we had Bree Levy, 500.23 dots. Fourth place, Samantha Taha, 500.22 dots. These ladies planned those attempts, that third and fourth place, 9 for 9 days. Exactly. You know that 500 dots was on their mind for the Ghost Clash next year. And in fifth place, Amanda Torres with a 500.00 dots and a 280 kilo squat from Amanda, which I believe was an all-time world record, performed on amateur day. Absolutely insane. Super, super sick to watch and to be a part of. That again, just on the amateur day from those ladies. Moving on to our men. Our men did not disappoint either. First through sixth place all had over 500 dots, with seventh and eighth place having 498. So literally pretty much 8 of our competitors could have competed on the pro day. And here they were battling it out on amateur day. Absolutely amazing performances. In first place, Avery Jackson, 541 dots. Got him first place, won best overall in sleeves. Second place, had another super strong lifter, Phil Bennett, with a 9 for 9 day with a 528 dots. Third place, Giovanni Lorato, a 527 dots. He had a massive 804 squat. I believe that was the heaviest squat of the amateur day. And a 815 deadlift. Absolutely insane. Huge lifts were put up even on the amateur day of the Ghost Clash. It was tons of fun. Fourth place, our boy from Ghost Gym, Jeremy Lowry, with a 524.9 dots. Big breakout performance for him. He added something like 300 or 400 pounds to his total. Super insane to watch. He put up an 826 deadlift that moved extremely easy. Fifth overall, Colton with a 504 dots. Sixth, Thomas Boswinkle with a 503 dots. Boom. First through six, all over 500 dots. Those lifters, early access, first invite to compete on the pro day next year of the Ghost Clash. You guys already hear me. It's a year away. You already hear me talking about the Ghost Clash 4. Right when one finishes, boom, I jump into planning right away for the next one. We plan on releasing the exact date sometime in June, as we did this in last year, 2023, and registration will already be live and ready, and invite tiers going out by July. So just a few months away. So be on the lookout. Be ready for that, because it opens up and it comes before you even fucking know it. So you guys can really plan your year and know what you want to work towards. So big shout out to those 6 guys, all with an over 500 dots in an amateur day competition. Nothing amateur about that. All right. If we keep going down, you guys can go look back on all this in Lifting Cast. 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th, 13th, 14th, 15th place. 15th place had a 470 dots. Okay. It's crazy to think that the Ghost Clash won just 2 years ago. The qualifying was a 450 dots to be on the pro day. And now look at this. First through what is the lowest ranking 451 is 21st place in sleeves. So 21 of those lifters would have been able to compete on pro day just 2 years ago. It's crazy to see how the bar just constantly rises. And thank you to all those lifters for coming out and choosing this to be your competition that you competed at. Our men's in wraps. Wraps, I don't want to say it's dying, because it's not, because on pro day we had tons of competition in the wrap division. Not as much on the amateur day. Our first place overall winner is a South Florida local, coming to us by way of Ukraine. Valery, I won't try to say his name, but I'll try. Kaskibabov, my boy, he came out. He had a fantastic 8 for 8 day, 487 dots, which was good enough to win him best overall in wraps. I definitely hope next year's amateur day we'll see some more heavy hitters come out to us in wraps, because again, Since I've been doing this meet, since I did the previous iteration of this meet when I was running pro meets under a different umbrella, I've always liked to award. I don't want to make it just a strictly wrapped meet or a strictly sleeved meet. I want the best of both of those worlds to be able to come over and all compete, not necessarily against each other, but against the other people in wraps versus the other people in sleeves. So I love being able to see both those levels of competition. So that amateur day was a ton of fun. It was a long day, but it was a perfect day for the lifters. Lifting started at 8 a.m. Session one went from 8 a.m. until 2 p.m. 6 hours. Lifters loved it. Perfect amount of spacing between, like a full meet, but not a full day. Session two began right at 2:10 until 8 p.m. So another 6 hours right there. We ran through the second session. We had, I believe, 76 lifters that we ran through on a single day. You don't see a lot of meets that can get that done. That's a big roster of lifters, 76 lifters. On average, you usually see about 40 to 50 lifters in a single day. We had a great spotting and loading crew, great judging crew, a great crew overall that allowed us to be able to get through all of those lifters. In a solid amount of time. 2 6-hour sessions is freaking perfect in my opinion. And that's going to likely be the model that we go with for next year's Pro Day, which again, more announcements of that will come by around June when we talking about that more. But for now, there's just a little teaser of scheduling for you guys. So moving on to the Ghost Clash Pro Day. Man, tons of fun. Tons and tons of fun. We had a full 59 lifter roster. All right. So it was a full day, right? For 59 lifters back in the day, 60 lifter meets used to be the norm. 4 flight, 15 lifters in each flight. And I remember old school meets here in Florida didn't run clocks, nothing like that. And those full 4 flight meets would start at 9 a.m. and would run until 8:30, 9 p.m. And that's one session straight through. I knew I wanted to take that old school approach of a one session, 4 flight meet, but I wanted it to be ran extremely efficiently and on a tight schedule. And that's exactly what we pulled off with David and his crew, his spotters and loaders, grinding, moving fast. Our judges always running the clock, and we ran smoothly through and finished before just a little bit after 5 p.m. with a 9 a.m. start time, which for a 59 lifter meet is absolutely killer. 59 lifters on a pro day, minimal actual pullouts. We had a lot of the pullouts happen before the deadlines where we were able to transfer and get a lot of our wait list lifters on to the roster. And it's always exciting to see because it's over the years, a lot of pro meets, you get so many pullouts the last couple weeks leading up. You get a lot of sometimes inconsiderate athletes who don't even tell you they're not coming and they just no show. We only had one actual no show, one person through all my emails who didn't respond back and just decided not to show up. But besides that, everyone was there. They were ready to party. We had more bomb outs than we would like to see, which is always upsetting. Luckily, no extreme injuries or anything like that. And yeah, so jumping into our women's Raw division, right? I mean, the standout performance, the outlier, everyone knew who had first place locked in. All right. Samantha Rice, one of the best in the world. Such a sweet lady. It was so awesome to see her with her daughter. Her daughter finally got to come out and watch her compete. She had a 7 for 9 day, which was still an absolutely insane breaking performance for her. She's gone back and forth between competing in the 90 kilo weight class and the 82.5. She messaged me the day before, requested to move up to 90. So she weighed in at a very light 90 at 84.5. I believe one of the statistics is she's the first woman to squat and deadlift, or one of the lightest women to squat and deadlift over 600 in the same meet. She had a 600-pound squat, 272.5, 352 bench, and then she went on her second attempt deadlift, re-break the all-time world record and hit again and solidify fully this time, although she had hit it and done it last time before, the heaviest female deadlift of all time. You guys know at the American Pro, her and Brianni both hit that same deadlift. Samantha hit it first. However, since Brianni was lighter in body weight, when you filter through open powerlifting, it was done on the same day. It shows Brianni first, right? So they've had a little bit of back and forth battle leading into this meet. There was a lot of excitement to see who's going to come out with it. And both of them decided to load it on their second attempts, right? Um, Brianni loading a little bit more. Brianni's second attempt was 293. So Sam was the first athlete to come out after her opener of 280 kilos to 292.5, which was breaking her all-time world record by 1.5 kilos and breaking the heaviest female deadlift of all time by 1.5 kilos, aka 3 pounds. And she absolutely freaking smoked it. Smoke show, smoke show, smoke show. Immediately after her, Brianni came out for 293, a chip over it to try to hit the heaviest deadlift, female deadlift of all time and break what she had just broke. And just grip was a little bit of an issue for Brianni at the Ghost Clash. So after that, Sam attempted to go all the way up to 303 kilos. She added another 10.5 kilos, another 23 pounds onto her deadlift because she was then trying to set the heaviest female total in sleeves of all time. Strength wasn't there for it for that day, but absolutely insane performance. Heaviest female deadlift of all time, 665 dots performance in sleeves. So sick, so amazing to watch. In second place, CJ Byam, coming to us by way of Canada, hit a 597 dots with a 9-for-9 day. I believe I saw her post something saying that solidified the heaviest Canadian female dots of all time. Don't quote me on that, but I think I saw that. Absolutely amazing, insane day for her, solidifying second place. Third place, Brittany Bowles, a previous Ghost Clash winner, and she came to us in sleeves this year and going up a weight class, usually competing at 132, competed at 148, but weighing in at a very light 148, around 139. She had a good day. Even with missing lifts, she could have been that contender for an over 600 dots, which I know was her goal. She hit a 591 dots, going 7-for-9. Fourth place, we have Nikki Solis. Fantastic 7-for-9 day with a 568 dots. And in fourth place, multiple record holder Angelina Bennett went up to the 60 kilo class instead of her usual 123 class. I believe she was battling some injuries. It wasn't her best day. She came out, she had fun. 546 dots performance for her. Those were your top 5 women. But that's to say, one of the contenders for second place or third place was Amanda Smith, who unfortunately, she was on fire, had a great squat day, and then unfortunately bombed out on bench. I was really excited to see what she could have done and what she could have put together. I think she would have gotten above that 600 dots. And I'm very excited to see what she does next when she makes her comeback. It's always extremely disappointing and a bummer to see a lifter travel all the way out for this meet and then have to bomb out on a little technicality. Strength was definitely there for her. So I'm excited to see what she puts together, and I hope to see Amanda back next year at the Ghost Clash 4. Moving on to our women in wraps. All right. So the women versus men were kind of reversed. The men in sleeves, we had big battles, a lot of big numbers put up, and a lot of lifters in sleeves for men and very few lifters in wraps for men. This for women, it was the complete opposite. We had way more females in wraps than we did in sleeves. And we had some big battles, right? Some very big battles. First place, was super excited to see it. The returning Ghost Clash champion, last year putting up a 9-for-9 day, this year putting up a 9-for-9 day. Denise Herbert coming to us from Germany, a 683 dots. breaking the all-time world record deadlift of the 165 class, just 1 kilo under the heaviest female deadlift of all time. Her goal wasn't going, although she could have. She could have broke that heaviest female deadlift of all time easily. Her goal wasn't that. Her goal was locking the all-time world record, locking in a perfect 9-for-9 day, and locking in first place. You know, with her, if she would have missed her third attempt deadlift, if Hunter Henderson would have gotten her second or third attempt deadlift, that would have bumped Hunter up to first place. But Denise stacked those chips exactly where she needed it, had an amazing day. You're a returning Ghost Class champion. Second place, legendary Hunter Henderson. She was the last episode here on the Ghost Clash. You know, she talked about her goals. She came through and she got very close to them. She was able to load that 700-pound squat, which she wanted to, wasn't able to complete it. She did still hit a squat PR, 2 for 3 on bench, 1 for 3 on deadlifts. I know, and it's absolutely insane that her having a 5-for-9 day still gives her a 673 dots, one of the highest dots of all time on a far from perfect day. That just shows you the outliers and the best in the world. Absolutely insane. Second place, Brianni Terry, coming to us in the 181 class. Didn't want to cut down to 165 like she did at the American Pro. It paid off for her big time on squats, going 3 for 3. Still hit what I believe is a pretty big bench PR in her second attempt. And then, like we said, on her deadlift, she went straight to that heaviest female deadlift of all time for her second and third attempt after a massive 617-pound opener, and just hands weren't cooperating. But we know we're going to see her come back, and I'm excited to see how her and Samantha and Denise all go back and forth to keep pushing the limit of that heaviest female deadlift of all time. Because it wasn't long ago that there was only one or two women, hell, practically a year ago, when Denise pulled her third attempt. Denise at the Ghost Clash last year was 595. And I'm like, damn it, why didn't you load 600? And that was a big PR for her at the time. And seeing a 600-pound deadlift from a female was not something you were going to see. Here we saw multiple this year, multiple over 600-pound deadlifts into the mid 600s. Absolutely insane. Excited to see how those women push each other and go back and forth with that deadlift record. Fourth place, Alicia Luna. She came out, hit an all-time world record in the 114 class, broke the all-time world record deadlift, 8-for-9 day, 617 dots. She was the fourth place overall. And then one of our returning international lifters from Australia, Lily Riley, she came out, absolutely so impressive with squats, 285 kilo squat, just missing 290 on depth, I believe. Big day she was lined up for, and then hit a little hamstring injury on her second attempt deadlift. But even just hitting one deadlift, 610 dots, locking in fifth place overall. And then looking beyond that, our sixth and seventh place winners, 595 dots, 592 dots. Like, absolutely insane. Watching these women battling out, watching the attempt selection to get into that top 5 and get a payday. It was really exciting. Of all the meets that I've ran, the pro meets that I've ran over the years that I've been a part of, it was definitely my favorite battle to watch. And as you guys know, listening to this, I'm a big numbers guy. So watching the numbers, doing the number math in my own head and stuff, it was very exciting. Moving on to our men's overall in sleeves, right? All eyes on Mr. John Hack, right? John decided he didn't want to finish making the cut to 198, so he came in as a light 220, which he's done multiple times before, right? And each time that he's done that, he's usually had a little bit of an edge. He didn't have to keep doing that cut down to 198. Everyone asks, why the fuck do you keep doing 198? He has one personal goal. I know it. He's talked about it a lot of times. He wants to hit that 2,300 pounds at 198, which before this meet, he hadn't even totaled 2,300 pounds at any weight class, right? But very excited to say that the Ghost Clash platform was a platform that he finally fucking did it on, right? So he first went in, had an insane 3-for-3 squat day, Finally hit an 804 squat, which has been a big goal of his for a while. If he would have been at 198, the all-time world record squat is 804. I'm sure he would have chipped it and he would have went 805, 365.5 in an attempt to break that all-time world record squat. And that would have just added more fuel to my fire because you guys probably know I coach Jawan Garrison, who that's his next goal is breaking that all-time world record squat at 198. So him and John will be going back and forth on that. So perfect 3 for 3 squat day. Bench 2 for 3, narrowly missing his third attempt bench. The commands, they were strict. They were strict, making sure bar was motionless. There's nothing more that we hate than seeing, the standards of the bar is bouncing, touch and go, etc. So we want to make sure that our judges are upholding that higher standard. Narrowly cost him to miss the 265 bench, which cost him 12.5 kilos on his total. And he knew his goal going into this was 2,300 pounds. He went for an absolutely insane. If you guys haven't seen it, it's on the Ghost Clash page. It has like 15,000 likes, like viral as hell. He went for a massive 426 kilo deadlift, which was a 25, 26 pound PR for him, and got it. And that locked in his 2,300 pound total goal. Unfortunately, not done at 198. But, people, when they see John kind of sometimes having good preps, a bench falls off in the meet, or then squat, he has an issue with stability or depth on squat or whatever it is. It was really exciting to see pretty much all the chips stack up for him. And the crazy thing is, the bench that he hit that got him this 2,300 pound total is 20 kilos under his competition bench. So he's benched 44 pounds more than what he got on his second attempt in a competition. So, if he gets that bench lined up with all those other attempts, he's going to be looking at, 2,350 and then potentially 2,400 when he goes at the 220. Absolutely insane. That was your first place winner. That was your outlier. That's who everyone's favorite and everyone knew, unless some freak accident happened. John Hack was first place. Second place, Jamal Browner. Jamal came out, although he'd been battling injuries. It's been over a year since he competed. He's still stuck to being on the roster, still locked in at 600 dots, still locked in, I believe what he said was his second best total ever, even just getting one squat attempt and 2 deadlift attempts. Squat, go look at his page. He had a ton of issues with stability, his hip, etc. Only got his opener. 2 for 3 on bench, 2 for 3 on deadlift. However, he still managed a 5 kilo deadlift PR with a 460 kilo second attempt and narrowly, very narrowly missed a 470 kilo third attempt, which would have broke the all-time world record 242 pound record, which was previously his and currently held by Dan Grigsby. Third place, we had Omar Villegas, an 8 for 9 day with a 576 dots. Fourth place, Marco Galindo. Marco's one strong dude. He has in him, he's capable of getting close to a 600-pound dots. It wasn't his best day, but he still managed to lock in fourth place with a 575 dots. And then fifth place, we have Mr. Phil Herndon. Massive 390 kilo squat opener, going on to just barely miss the 415 twice. Big day for him, 574 dots, and those were your top 5 in sleeves. Moving on to our men in wraps. This is where, for me, it was the biggest upset, right? We had one lifter completely bomb out on depth who would have been in contention for, the top couple of placements, potentially second or third place. But the lifter who was the favorite to win first place overall, Boris, unfortunately injured his quad in warm-up on a light warm-up, and had to pull out of the competition before he even got to the platform. I didn't realize it till hours later. I was like, wait, what the fuck? Why didn't Boris squat? And someone told me that it happened in the back warm-up room, fell. He had to be taken out of there, go to the hospital. Always extremely disappointing and scary to hear. I'm glad to see he's doing well. He's walking. He doesn't need any kind of surgery or anything like that. Excited to see him come back, but he was a big favorite. You guys heard me interview him on this podcast. If you didn't, go back and listen to it. He has gone through journey after journey to get to competitions. He came to Miami all the way from Bulgaria after traveling to Russia for multiple competitions with 20 plus hours of travel. So it was really a bummer for him not to be able to take the platform, but I'm super glad he's okay, not needing to undergo surgery. And I definitely hope to have him back for the Ghost Clash 4. But that leads us to the Ghost Clash overall in wraps winner, Mr. Shane Holler, Florida man, returning champ. He was your Ghost Clash 1 champ, didn't come back for year 2, came back for year 3, took first place again. Massive 8 for 9 day with a 605 dots. He's a previous all-time world record holder, and I'm excited to see him keep pushing because he's not slowing down. I've been seeing Shane, in local competitions since 2016 here in Florida, and goddamn, he is a freaking unit. Second place, Luke Tolman. All right, Luke came to us over from the UK, 5 for 9 day, but still put together a massive performance in his debut in the 110 class, weighing in at a light 104, going 1 for 3 on squats, 2 for 3 on bench, 2 for 3 on deadlift, narrowly missing out on his total goal, but still put together a massive 592 dots. It was awesome watching him. It was awesome seeing his positive attitude, even through missed attempts, which, he had big goals coming out here. And I know we'll be seeing him next year and seeing him battling it out for that first place overall spot in wraps. In the third place, Mr. Mike Risty came to us with a 567 dots. Fourth place, Bobby Hume, 540 dots. Gabriel Vega, fifth place, 539 dots. So like you guys heard me say, the wraps portion of the competition for this year was much less competitive than the sleeve portion for the men, and much less men on the overall roster. So let's see that change next year. I want to see some of the big dogs and wraps coming out. I want to see some massive totals, some massive dots performances, so we kind of even that playing field of where the money spread is a little bit more. We'll jump into the final categories that we had. We also had Kabuki Strength. Shout out to Kabuki for being our sponsor. Giveaway barbells, the biggest lifts of the meet. The biggest squat at the entire meet, 1,003 pounds. It's not every day that you get to see 1,000 pounds loaded on the bar. And that was loaded by Mr. Craig Foster on his second attempt. He went on to attempt, I think, 426 or 435, or I'm sorry, 1026 or 1035 after that. Smoked it, got called on depth. So it's cool to see 2,000-pound squats. Biggest female squat, Miss Hunter Henderson with a 685, 311 kilo all-time world record squat. Biggest bench by Mr. Patrick McGuire with a 611-pound bench. Biggest female bench, Hunter Henderson with a 363. Biggest male deadlift, Jamal Browner, no surprise there, with 1014, 1,014 pounds. Always cool when you see 1,000-pound squat and 1,000-pound deadlift in the same competition. And the biggest female deadlift of all time ever by Sam Rice with 644. So I hope you guys were able to tune into the Ghost Clash. If you guys want to go dive into these numbers more, they're up on Open Powerlifting. The results are still up on Lifting Cast. Like I said, announcements will be coming way sooner rather than later for the Ghost Clash 4 for next year. Planning has already began. But before we continue with our pro level meets in the WRPF, we have our regional championships, right? So if you guys don't know about regionals, that was started this last year as different means to go along to then be able to compete at nationals or other larger level meets. The next regional championship that we have coming up is the Mid-American Regional Championship, which is on May 18th and 19th. Hitting a qualifying dots at this competition is what will be able to qualify you to go compete at nationals later this year in October. Dustin Kuek is our meet director for the Mid-American Regional Championships, and it's being held in Illinois. We'll be having Dustin on the podcast really soon to kind of chat about that, chat about regionals, chat about his plans for it, talk about the roster, see what lifters he has confirmed for the roster. After that, Our next regional championship will be just the following weekend after that. It's the Southeast. All right. So that's my hood down here. It's going to be held in Alabama. Southeast Regional Championships on May 24th through 26th. So I believe that's going to be a 3-day regional championship. And that's being held by Heidi Dannell and Charlie Leons. Again, competing at these regional championships are we're going to be able to get you to nationals via those qualifiers. You can also then break your records, etc. After our Southeast regionals, we have our Mountain Regional, which is June 8th and June 9th. So just about 6 weeks or so out from that. That's going to be held in Utah with our meet directors, Erica and Colin Sorensen. I just came from that neck of the woods, the mountains. That's where I was on vacation. That's one of the reasons why you guys haven't heard from me for a while. I was out in Arizona, hiked the Grand Canyon, absolutely beautiful. So I already know you guys can make a vacation out of it. You go out there for Utah Regional, have some fun, stay a while after. About another 4 or 5 weeks after that, now we're pushing into July. July 20th and 21st, we have the Northwest Regional being held in Oregon by Albert Alvarado and Patrick Thomas. Those are all of the confirmed upcoming regionals that we have, which then ultimately are going to lead you to the WRPF Nationals, which is October 25th, 26th, and 27th. It's being held in St. Louis, Missouri. Never been in St. Louis, Missouri. Look forward to going and checking it out. Albert Alvarado is the meet director along with the WRPF National Office, of course, helping as always. If you guys want more information on nationals, how to qualify for nationals, do you have to do regionals to qualify for nationals, etc., we'll be talking about that on our next couple of episodes as we begin having our regional meet directors on here. As we interview Alvarado and talk to him about that a little bit more. But go over to the WRPF website, check the calendar. Tons of things in all areas and all regions of the United States. Here in Florida, I am hosting a WRPF meet in July 22nd, I believe. July 21st to 22nd. Excuse me for not remembering the exact date. So if you're in Florida and you're looking for the WRPF meet, go check out that meet being held at Ghost Gym Miami. If you are a little bit further north, go check out that regionals being held in Alabama. So the South, we haven't had a lot historically. We're having more and more down here. So look up your local meet director, go to the WRPF website, filter through, check your area, get signed up for a meet, and we'll be excited to see you guys on the platform. I hope you guys enjoy this episode. I hope you didn't miss us too much, but we're back. We're back to our weekly releases. And stay tuned for our next couple episodes where we interview the regional meet directors and get you guys hyped and excited for that. I hope you guys enjoyed this week's episode of the WRPF podcast.